This is the Committee on Veterans and Veterans Affairs. We are in a subcommittee. We have Senator Rusty Black here to present a bill on veteran service organizations. And so, Senator Black, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. And also good morning to the members of the committee. For the record, my name is Rusty Black, and I represent the 12th Senate District. Senate Bill 974 would install consumer protection in the state for veterans. Currently, veterans can try to get their VA disability just like individuals file their taxes. They can do it themselves, use a free service, or they can hire experts to help them. The VA system is hard, adversarial, and broken. Even the best state systems are overworked. Despite free options here from veteran service organizations and state-run taxpayer-funded veteran service support, thousands of veterans still choose to seek private paid expert help for their disability rating. However, like all industries, and I know you all are going to find this hard to believe, there are a lot of good actors in that group, but there's some that aren't so good as well. Instead, this legislation would put guidelines on these businesses they must follow to protect our veterans. I'm going to go through bullet points that you can find in the bill, 974. Prohibit initial upfront fees. You know, when my mom answered the phone, first thing they want the credit card. Stops that. Mandates all fees are contingent on a successful outcome. So no success, no fee. Implements a fee cap supported by the Industry Trade Association. Prohibits direct solicitation of the veteran promising or guaranteeing an increase using overseas call centers and having access to the veteran's personal, private financial information. Mandates you must disclose to the veteran that there are free options available and get their consent in writing. Mandates HIPAA-compliant servers. Prohibits taking on a veteran in their first 365 days of discharge. Adds civil and criminal penalties to anyone who violates these rules. This bill is identical to legislation that I filed last year, Senate Bill 316, heard in this committee and voted out. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. And we know that I have some people here that have expert throughout the nation. They look at these all over the place besides the state of Missouri.
Senator, thank you for that explanation of your bill. We did hear essentially the same bill last year. I just have a concern here I want you to answer. Why are we requiring veterans to enter into a contract with the sponsors who have asked you to sponsor this bill?
Well, the people that I've worked with on this bill, as well as these other organizations.
Let me rephrase that question. We're requiring
the veterans would sign a contract.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have prompted you before I asked the question. This is an option. There is no requirement.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no requirement for them.
I didn't listen to the first few words of your questions. We're not requiring.
I teed it up wrongly. So anyway, and that's the key that I wanted to make. The point I wanted to make is that the current VSO option that they have is not working. Can you tell me, Senator, how many veterans are waiting in line to get help for their benefits?
In the state of Missouri, there's over 100 VSOs, which sounds like a tremendous number of people helping. The number of veterans, somebody behind me is going to do it, it's in the 20, 30,000 range in our state. So
there's
somewhere
about
between
3,000 people per VSO.
Per VSO, and it makes common sense says those 3,000 people are not going to taken care of, especially very timely by one person.
Right.
Not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, but we need this option for our veterans in our state. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm probably not going to, hopefully not go back to testimony that I have personally on this, but that's why I believe this option ought to be there. We're not making anybody do anything. Thank you, Cinder, for making sure that was said on a microphone. It is a choice, and if you choose not to use this group, not a problem.
Okay.
Or a group, private group.
Are there any other questions for the senator? Well, I do have another question. I didn't look this way. Okay, good. Do you have a copy of the contract that that the veteran would sign to engage the firm that you're presenting for?
No, I do not have it
I see
here.
a head
It's probably
shaking. There may be
upstairs
one
in a
there.
folder
Okay.
from last year, but
Yeah.
I do not have
Okay.
it.
I think we might have a view of that in just a minute or two. But let's now go to witnesses in support. Witnesses in support? Are you going to head out? Yeah, you're welcome to. Yeah, thank you for presenting that. If you will, state your name and where you're from, and looks like you have a witness form completed. Thank you for that.
My pleasure, Senator. Good morning. My name is John Blomstrom, for the record, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak here today in front of you all. I'm a proud United States Marine Corps veteran. I also come from a Midwestern background where values like personal responsibility, fairness, and looking out for your neighbors aren't political ideas, they're just how we were raised. I'm here today in support of Senator Black's bill, Senate Bill 974. This issue is personal for me. I have served alongside men and women who trusted that when their time in uniform ended, the benefits they earned would be accessible and navigable. For many, that has not always been the case. This system can be complex, slow, frustrating. Senate Bill 974 is not about protecting businesses. It's not about protecting profits. It's about protecting veterans' choice and ensuring when a veteran seeks help, they are protected by clear rules and transparency. Every veteran's situation is different, including my own. Some file on their own. Many work with VSOs, and others seek expert help when they hit roadblocks. That does not mean our VSOs are failing. I want to be very clear about that. It simply reflects the scale and complexity of the federal system. Veterans should not be limited to a single pathway. What matters is that a veteran if they choose paid help, there should be guardrails in place. That is exactly what Senator Black's bill does. This bill establishes common sense protections, no upfront fees, payment only after a successful outcome, clear disclosures about free options, privacy protections, prohibitions on misleading practices, and real accountability for bad actors. These are consumer protections designed for veterans and their families, and importantly, this bill does not require any veteran to pay for assistance. I would like to enunciate that for the record. This bill does not require a veteran to pay for assistance. It is only an option for them to do so. It simply preserves their right to choose and ensures protections if they do. As a Marine, I was taught that we fight for freedom and individual liberty. It would be inconsistent with those values to tell a veteran they cannot decide how to pursue the benefits they earned. I also want to be respectful, and those who support other approaches are motivated by wanting to protect veterans, and we share that goal. We may disagree on the path, but not on the purpose. SB 974 represents a balanced, veteran-centered approach. It protects against exploitation without taking away options. This is about trust, this is about dignity, and this is about honoring service by preserving choice. Respectfully ask for your support, and I thank you for your time and commitment to the veterans of the great state of Missouri. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bloomstrom. Any questions for the witness? I appreciate what you said early in your testimony that you're not here to disparage any organization, especially the current VSO operation. And I want to reiterate what Senator Black said, that this is just an option. No one is being coerced into this. Can you tell me, Mr. Bloomstrom, is there a cost involved? Would the veteran who is gaining benefits if they use your service, what might be some of the costs that they would be incurred with your service?
Well, I want to be very clear, Senator. That's a great question. Up front, there are no costs to the veteran. If a veteran does not receive a financial benefit, we simply do not charge them. That is part of the ethics and morality clause that we have. that's mandated by our trade association, who's headed by Secretary Peter O'Rourke of President Trump's first administration. Our fees are contingency-based and they're nominal, meaning if a veteran does get an increase, we're charging them a one-time fee, not in perpetuity and not upfront, only based on successful outcome of them getting a disability increase. And it's only the delta, the change between that increase. So, for instance, if we're taking a veteran from $100 to $200, we would charge them a one-time fee of $500, 5 times the monthly increase. Our typical fees range anywhere between $2,000 and $4,000, depending on the complexity. Very rarely are we approaching an unreasonable fee structure.
If I can stop you there for just a second,
Yes,
we
sir.
now have, I think, the ability to establish a quorum. So if we'll get right back to you. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Moon,
Here.
Schnelting, Nicola, Weber. Quorum established.
Thank you. Let's go back to the cost that might be incurred. If a veteran were comparing, and you take apples to apples here, and they went through the VSO to gain benefits, are there costs associated with that?
Upfront, no,
program.
Senator, but I think it's very important to denote that if a veteran goes through this process, whether it's a paid consulting service like ours or whether it's a free service, and that claim is denied, their only recourse is to go through the Board of Veterans Appeals and hire an accredited attorney to do that work. That accredited attorney would end up charging a fee on the back pay from that appeals.
Is there a percentage or a solid dollar amount that they would be charged if they went through the appeals?
Well, not as an accredited attorney, Senator, but that typically fee is anywhere between 20% and up to 33 1/3% of that veteran's back pay. It's also why it's very important with Senator Black's model to stipulate that there is a fee cap in there to ensure that there are no unreasonable fees that can be charged a veteran.
Any additional questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you again for your testimony. Now let's go to opposition. Is there someone here that might be opposed to Senate Bill 974? I'm going to probably go off script here a little bit. I saw a head shaking with regard to the fees. Would you like to comment about the fees structure? Come on up if you will, and because we need to hear from you, because this is something that is not going away, and we're likely to vote it out of committee today.
Hello, my name is Matt Pritchard. I am a
Turn your microphone on.
Sorry about
Thank
that.
you.
My name is Matt Pritchard. I'm a registered lobbyist for AT&T, but I'm going to speak on behalf of myself, not for AT&T. My only objection to what he was saying was he said that if a veteran's claim is denied, they'd have to go to the Board of Veterans Appeals to appeal it and hire a lawyer for that. That is not the case. You can do that on your own with a VSO, which I have done. So that's my only objection to that. I don't feel that that was accurately stated, because you can't do that on your own without a veteran service officer.
With regard to the cost, though, is that also,
It costs me nothing to do any of my claims.
so when the appeals attorney takes the case, they're not taking any of the benefits?
I never hired an attorney. I represented
Okay.
myself in that process.
Okay.
But
Are-
there's enough. I did everything through the DAV,
Okay.
which is a veteran service organization.
Right.
And through their guidance, I was able to do everything for free.
Mm-hmm.
So there's free options out there.
Okay.
And I just I just thought that was maybe misrepresented. You can hire an attorney
Right.
to get a better outcome, maybe an easier outcome.
Right.
But there's still a pathway that is free.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I was shaking my head. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
that's.
okay. And I have a follow-up question. Would you agree that this is an option that veterans have? They're not coerced into doing that? They can go through the VSO, or they could seek a private?
So I will say, I do have soldiers that served underneath me that have used outside organizations and has been very successful. A lot of that has been time constraints. There may have been, a decade passed since they got out of service, and so some of the records and everything, having an attorney
Right.
was beneficial to them because they didn't know how to navigate the system. There may not have, and these were extremely rural areas where there wasn't a veteran service officer readily available. A lot of them have consulted me, just, hey, how did you do this, what did you do this? And as I said to them,
Okay.
you need to talk to the veteran service officer, but this is the questions I would ask.
Right. And I don't recall if you were here when Senator Black was presenting the bill. However, he mentioned that there were approximately 100 VSOs in the state of Missouri, and with the backlog, there are about 3,000 or so. I think that's a little more than 3,000 waiting to have their benefits processed. Is that accurate, do you believe?
I can't speak to that because I'm not familiar with how many
Okay.
veterans there are that are waiting.
Yeah.
I can speak to, I was at the VA last week in Columbia, and there's an area where there's veteran service officers, and I've been there many times, and there's always a wait. And getting to see them, there's always a wait.
Right.
So
Okay.
I can say from what I've witnessed at Truman VA that there's usually a wait to see a veteran service
Okay.
officer. I can say that attending the DAB here in Jeff City, that there's a lot of communications around people waiting.
Yeah.
I can't speak to how many there
Right.
actually is.
And I commend you for being able to navigate that on your own. I don't know how many others can and would do that. But would you agree that it would be a positive outcome for all concerned if there were options available that there's no commitment that they have to make, and they know up front exactly what they're getting into? Would that be something that you would think would be a good idea?
Absolutely. I think that, I mean, I don't know what this organization this gentleman represents, but having a person that can navigate it for you, whether it's fee-based, I don't like fee-based because that's just my own personal opinion. But I think that for some veterans, for some people going through struggles, my struggles started trying to get mental health, trying to get evaluated so that way, because I was going through some pretty severe PTSD issues, and I hadn't been part of the VA, and I had been out for about 13 years. And then I got introduced to it, and somebody said, you need to go speak with them. So my struggles were trying to navigate that at the same time, but at the same time, I'm also educated enough to know how to navigate things and be able to fight for what I thought. So veterans that are going through those struggles, that are trying to seek help as well as get benefits at the same time, I think having an outside person that can work with them more personally, which that sounds like, I mean, a fee-for-service is going to be that personal touch that a lot of those veterans are going to need versus, I mean, I don't want to disparage it, but a veteran service officer has many, many clients, and trying to be able to do that personal touch may be a little bit harder for them
Sure.
to maintain that, where a fee-for-service, I think, would probably be more personal.
Yes. Any other questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Okay. Let me finish the witness testimony first. Finish this bill on. Are there any other witnesses in favor of Senate Bill 974? Seeing none, any other witnesses against or opposed to Senate Bill 974? Are there any of those who want to speak on for information purposes only? Seeing none, we're going to close out the hearing for 974, and we're going to go into executive session. Do I have a second? Have a second. We are now in executive session. I move that Senate Bill 925 be taken up. Is there a second? I have a second. The bill is now before the committee. We have a substitute, I believe. And I've got it right in front of me. All right. Apparently, in the substitute for Senate Bill 925, there was a removal made at the request of the National Guard. Are there questions about the substitute for Senate Bill 925?
Yes, any other details as far as what's in the sub versus the original?
Well, it was just the one paragraph taken out, and
Okay.
I don't have the side-by-side comparison, Senator, but...
Got it. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a copy of the same one. It just adds Missouri to the title and then by ordinance the provision regarding less than 30 days.
Okay.
Which was in this.
Senator, it looks as if we have the inclusion of the word Missouri in the title, and then the guardsmen, regarding the pay for guardsmen who are on state active duty orders less than 30 days. The word monthly was inserted before the word allowance.
Got it.
The original sub two.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions regarding the sub? No questions
No.
seeing? Okay. Then I move that, we've got to roll it in, right? All those in favor of adopting committee substitute for Senate Bill 9,
Get a second.
oh, do I have a second? Forgive me. We got the second, okay? All those in favor of adopting committee sub for Senate Bill 925, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Substitute is adopted. I move that Senate Bill 925 be, as amended by the Senate Committee substitute, be voted do pass. Is there a second? Second. We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Moon,
Aye.
Schnelting. Nicola. Roberts.
Aye.
Weber. Bill passed.
By a vote of 5-0, the bill passed. Now I move that we take up Senate Bill 959. Is there a second? Senator Nicola, second. The bill is now before the committee. We have a committee substitute for this bill. Is that right?
Yep, you got to move to adopt the committee substitute.
Okay.
I don't know if I have that sub yet.
Where is it? Your bill.
Oh. Yeah.
You got to take, move to adopt the committee substitute.
Yes. I move that we adopt the committee substitute for Senate Bill 959. Is there a second?
I'll second that one.
Okay, and we have the second from the bill sponsor. Is there discussion on the Senate substitute? Any discussion? Senator Nicola.
If I can ask the senator.
Sure. Yes,
What-
please.
Because I just got this too, so what's the difference? What's the change from the original?
I believe this is the one, so I remember last time when we passed it out of the session, there was some changes to it on the floor, and so it should be incorporating those, and then I think some of the members who are actually on the council were modified as well.
Were there more? Because I know there's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. That was it? Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you
You got
very
it, yeah,
much.
and if any other concerns pop up, glad to work with you on it.
Yeah, no, there's a couple things in here I'm really glad that's added, so thank you.
Good deal.
Any further questions? Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting committee substitute for Senate Bill 959 say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The substitute is adopted. I move that Senate Bill 959 as amended by the committee substitute be voted do pass. Is there a second? Second. Yeah, we have a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Moon,
Aye.
Schnelting. Nicola. And Roberts.
Aye.
And Weber. And the bill is adopted.
5. By a vote of 5-0, the bill is passed. Now I move that we take up Senate Bill 974. Is there a second?
Second.
The bill is now, Senate Bill 974 is now before the committee. Where's the substitute on that one, Mr. Secretary? It's 974. Oh,
Should be in this one right
okay. Does everyone who want a substitute have a copy of the substitute? The 974?
And this stack.
And the changes here are modifying the definition of veterans benefit matter. And it's actually to exclude housing loans under certain federal law. Any questions on that? We have someone here who could probably answer questions further if there are any. Seeing none. I move that we adopt the substitute for Senate Bill 974. Do I have a second? Are there any questions about the substitute? Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting committee substitute for Senate Bill 974, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The substitute is adopted. I move that substitute or Senate Bill, committee substitute, Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 974 as amended by the Senate committee substitute be voted do pass. Is there a second? I have a second. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Moon,
Aye.
Schnelting, Nicola, Roberts,
Aye.
Weber. 5-0.
By a vote of 5-0, Senate committee substitute for 974 passes. Now let's take up, I move that we take up Senate Bill 1003. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Bill is now before the committee. I believe we have a committee substitute for that too. Senator Schnelting, would you like to talk about the substitute?
Yes, I can do that, Mr. Chair. Thank you. I believe you all should have a copy. It ends in 05C, but we made 2 adjustments to the bill by adding the state-sponsored life insurance program to the bill. So right now, used to, at drill, you'd be able to discuss the state insurance life program. But there was some change to where they're unable to do that. This just allows them to go back and do that and make sure it's available for our members. The second change was aligning Missouri's military leave benefit with the new federal standard. So it goes from 120 hours to 160. If anyone has any questions, happy to entertain them. Otherwise, ask them.
Are there any questions for the bill sponsor? Okay. I make a motion that we adopt Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 1003. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion on the committee substitute? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 1003 say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Substitute is adopted. I move that Senate committee substitute for Senate Bill 1003 as amended by the Senate committee substitute be voted do pass. Is there a second? Mr. Chair, or Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Moon,
Aye.
Schnelting, Nicola, Roberts, Weber.
By a vote of 5-0, the bill passes. Now let's go back to, I move that we move out of executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
We are out of executive session. Senator Roberts, are you ready to present 1107? Okay, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Senator Roberts here to present Senate Bill 1107, which is a measure to support veterans from deceptive and unethical practices in handling of veterans' benefit claims. The legislation establishes clear guardrails for individuals and entities that seek to charge veterans for assistance benefit matters. It requires written fee agreements, meaningful disclosures, and compliance with existing federal law, ensuring that veterans understand who they are working with and what they're being charged. This bill also provides compensation for services rendered before a notice of disagreement is filed with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs and bars any guarantee of specific benefits, a promise that no legislative advisor can make. Additionally, Senate Bill 1107 strengthens transparency in advertising and provides enforcement through criminal penalties for those violations. These provisions are designed to deter bad actors while preserving access to lawful, ethical assistance for veterans navigating a complex federal system. Our veterans have earned their benefits through service and sacrifice, and Senate Bill 1107 helps ensure they are not exploited when seeking the assistance that they deserve. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the bill sponsor? Senator, I know you mentioned making certain that the veterans know who they're working with. Are there examples that you might have, or maybe some of your witnesses might have, about confusion that's maybe have come about? Because if I'm not mistaken, those who aren't VSOs are kind of known. And would a veteran not know they're working with someone outside the VSO if they enter into an agreement with another party?
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the concerns that were brought to me, and I'd say certainly not in every circumstance, but I think there are some folks who are operating in a way that they should, where they're providing full disclosures, but kind of from my conversations with some of these veterans organizations, there are other ones that aren't acting in good faith and taking advantage of folks in these situations. So the intention is to set up guardrails.
And on that line, would there be, if someone were acting fraudulently, would they not be held accountable for their action or inaction with a veteran with regard to benefits?
If they were, I guess I would distinguish fraudulently versus, like, let's say they have put together a deal, but it's extremely one-sided, and the veteran's really being taken advantage of in that circumstance. And again, to clarify, I'm not saying that all of these types of organizations are doing it, but what we're trying to do is make sure that they're required to provide the most pertinent information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I guess probably a final question from me is with regard to not knowing what they're getting into. I know each individual is different, and our understandings may not be at the same level as others, perhaps. However, if they're signing an agreement to receive services from someone, wouldn't that be kind of like on them? Not to, or they should be investigating and looking into what they're getting into before they put their name on the dotted line.
That's fair. I'd say, everyone should read the fine print, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
I know this is an issue folks on both sides of it feel very strong. So what I've been trying to do is kind of work with both organizations to find a path forward. So
Yeah.
I'd imagine there would probably be some tweaks to this version of
I was
it.
in a conversation with a group this morning, and my chief of staff, I'm not sure if he's here. Yeah, he's sitting right behind me. Talked about when we agree to our phone, when we have an upgrade or whatever, who reads those things, right?
Right.
But they're pages and pages long. But with something like this, we'd hope that they would take time to at least maybe consult with someone else, say, hey, what am I getting myself into if they don't understand it themselves? I guess the bottom line, and maybe this is my final question, in those instances, are there some guardrails already established that would hold people accountable if they're not acting in a good way?
My understanding is there aren't. Yeah, they're just kind of stuck with that situation. Again, not to say that the majority of these organizations are acting in bad faith, but we've heard from other folks just kind of serving as a commissioner on the Missouri Veterans Commission of these types of organizations taking advantage of individuals. Okay. So, imagine like you're getting a type of loan and you don't read the fine print. They're like, hey, actually, we're after 2 years, it's doubling the amount you're going to have to pay in interest or something like that, just to kind of provide an example.
Right. Very good. Any questions for the Senator? Senator Schnelting?
Just inquire, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Hey, Senator, thanks for bringing this forward. In some of these cases, aren't we dealing with some elderly vets as well?
Absolutely.
So confusion sometimes can be a scenario. There can be a scenario where one of these veterans might be a little confused as to the contract, but it might be someone who's engendered some sort of trust with them, who could actually manipulate them and take advantage of them as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
completely agree with that.
okay. Well, I appreciate you bringing the bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Senator Nicola?
Senator, thanks for bringing this forward. I'm always for transparency and keeping things out there. And I've been out of the military for 36 years. And several years ago, I applied to. It is confusing, and it's confusing to. I can't even imagine for the elderly, like Senator Schnelting brought up. So thank you for bringing this forward. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you,
Thanks for your
Senator.
service as well.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none. Thank you, Senator. Are there witnesses in support of Senate Bill 1003? Witnesses in support? Witnesses opposed? Please come on up. And just as before, if you wouldn't mind to complete a witness form for this bill as well. And when you're ready, proceed.
Already filled out the witness form, Senator, so we're all set for the opposing as well. Yep. I'm sorry, 1107.
I'm sorry. I was looking at a different page. It is 1107.
Just want to be very clear.
I'm glad you're on top of it.
Senator, I appreciate the time again. My name is John Blomstrom. I am a Marine Corps veteran, and I'm here today not in gross opposition by any stretch of the imagination to Senator Roberts' bill. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we're all here to protect veterans and ensure that that operators that are in the private claims consulting space, such as ours, are acting in the best interest of the veteran. I'm very proud to say that most of the tenets of the bill that Senator Roberts has introduced are all things that we already do in terms of disclosure, in terms of ensuring veterans know that there are free services available, also ensuring that we are acting in accordance with federal law, which we do interpret that we do. We also want to make sure very clearly that we're not guaranteeing anything up front. So from that perspective, I think we're all trying to protect veterans. That's why I'm not standing here in vehement opposition to Senator Roberts' very well-intentioned piece of legislation. I think it's putting the veteran first, which is what Senator Black's bill does, includes a lot of the consumer protection tenets of Senator Roberts' bill. I think at the end of the day, we're all just trying to protect veterans, and I think that, Senator Black's bill does a lot more from the consumer protection and choice standpoint, but I do feel that Senator Roberts' bill is very well-intentioned in that regard.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Oh, Senator Nicola.
So, matter of fact, I had to laugh when you said gross opposition, so that was funny. But is there an opposition here? Like, what do you have a problem with?
I think at the end of the day, I think it's just about language tweaks, Senator, if I'm being completely honest. I think, again, in principle, there's a lot that we do agree with in Senator Roberts' bill. So I think that, again, while we stand in opposition, I think that the overall disclosure intention and, again, ensuring veterans know that there are free services, that you're not exercising predatory marketing practices, which do exist out there, saying that you can guarantee a positive outcome, having hidden fees in perpetuity. I think another thing that Senator Roberts' bill covers very well. Again, it's sort of the redundant department of redundancy here. You've got two bills that are basically very similar. I think Senator Black's does a little more from a consumer protection standpoint, but I really do love the disclosure language in Senator Roberts' bill.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And thank you for what you do, too, and running your business with integrity and honor. And Senator, I meant to mention this to you. Thanks for working with both sides, too, to come up with something. Thank you.
Senator.
Any additional questions for the witness? Seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Any other witnesses in opposition? I'll get it right this time, perhaps. Senate Bill 1107. Seeing none, are there any witnesses for information only? Seeing none. Senator, you have anything else to say?
Just very briefly, I appreciate folks on both sides of this issue coming to me, kind of talking through the different issues. We're all trying to get to the same place and look forward to kind of continuing that dialogue.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, we are ending with Senate Bill 1107 with no further business before the committee. I move that we adjourn. Do I have a second? We are adjourned.